I said this, in the last 8 years that LeBron's been healthy, he ends up in the finals. Golden State's the only thing that's given him an issue, and I do think the Clippers have some Golden State components, a little bit, wing defenders, shoot threes, but you are loving this whole thing, aren't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I mean, if this whole thing, you mean the last 17 years, it's been pretty great, I would agree. Being able to sit here, have a front row seat to watching the greatest, most durable, most versatile athlete in human history continue to reinvent himself and continue to be at the top of the profession. It's been amazing. I would, and by the way, your takes this morning have been shockingly spot on. I just heard what you said about the Patriots. I welcome you to reality on their offense. I'm glad you finally got here. But on LeBron, it is surprising to me because people don't know this about you, Colin. You're a student of history, much like myself. I can't count how many times you've called me. We've discussed the Crimean War, pardon me, and many of those things. But your history's a little off when it comes to LeBron, because I heard you say what has stopped LeBron, aside from the injury over the last 4 years, was the Warriors threw all these wing defenders at him. And I'm going to, do this in my head, off the top of my head. But so just tell me the year those wing defenders, because that is what the Clippers have. They have all these wing defenders, that the wing defenders slowed down LeBron, because there was the first year of the finals where he went 36-13-9, and the guy who held him to that won finals MVP and Andre Iguodala.
Fair point.
There's the second year of the finals where he had the greatest three-game stretch in the history of the sport and coming back from 3-1 down. There's the third year in the finals where he averaged a 34-point triple-double. And then there's the fourth year of the finals against the Warriors where he opened the finals with a 51-9-9 and then played the rest of the finals with a broken hand because J.R. Smith forgot the score. So I would say those waves of wing defenders they threw at him didn't do nary a thing. Golden State beat them because they could outscore them. I don't know that the Clippers can outscore the Lakers. The thing that actually has given LeBron trouble offensively, the only thing in his career, aside from maybe at times having to play for Luke Walton, is big men, is rim protectors.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, there was a giant named Roy Hibbert who gave LeBron legitimate trouble. You live in L.A. Who's the Clippers' big guy? Is it the 6'7" Montrezl Harrell, or is it Zubac that's going to give LeBron trouble? I don't know, but I'm yet to see that person exist for that basketball team.
These are all fairly reasonable arguments. I'm going to move to football, give you a win on that one, give you a W on that one. So let's move to football. I am seen as very critical of Baker Mayfield, but I said 10 games ago it was Baker Mania. Today, he's not close to Lamar. Nobody's watching, but he's not close to Kyler Murray. Tua's coming into the league. Deshaun's now a star. Dak's getting better. He is now not even the most interesting mustache in the AFC. Am I too critical of Baker as he plays tomorrow, or was I right on this?
Well, I have a deep, unwavering commitment to take integrity, and if I say something, I need to be pulled off it by hurricane-force winds. But the more Baker plays and the more Baker talks, the more right you appear to be. It's frustrating. It's disappointing. I still think one day my Baker Mayfield stock is going to be worth something, but right now it's trading on the same exchange Blockbuster is, and it ain't great. I hate the... You said something that I had never thought about a few weeks ago, and it's when you were talking about his judgment, and you were talking about the moments you knew it would be a problem. And you brought up the moment in college with the cops. And what you said that I hadn't even thought of was the moment he ran from the cops, he wasn't even the one in trouble. And, before I became the man I am today, I don't mind admitting this, I might have been someone who ran from the cops a few times. Every damn time I was in trouble, it was the right decision. I had to go. Baker didn't have to go, but his instinct was, I gotta go. And his instincts are bad. You were right. His instinct this week, when he has more turnovers than anyone in football, except for, I think, Jared Goff and Jameis Winston, to start lecturing the fans on proper etiquette is abysmal. And if you were to be 30 minutes late twice a week to your own show and the ratings fall apart, and then you say, well, you know what? Our gaffer guy is really blowing it for me. The lack of accountability is unacceptable. So maybe Baker will mature, but that is the very long way of me saying this appears to be where Colin was right, and it really is frustrating.
Thank you. I mean, I gave you a W on the first round. I get a W on the second one. I met Russell Wilson when he was very, very young out of college, and I turned to my producer at the time at the other network, and I said, he'll be commissioner by 45. I said, I don't know what it is, but he is different, and that was before he had just beaten out Matt Flynn. And I watched him Monday night. His stats, he doesn't care about stats. He's a remarkable human being. After interceptions, he's over it in less than a second. He is the most optimistic. His alpha, his leadership. Every receiver works for him. I don't even know who half these guys are. I'm from the Pacific Northwest. To you, so I was in on the Russell stuff early. Some of that maybe because of where I grew up, and my sister doesn't like sports, and then he made her like football. But what did you make of Monday with Russell?
I made a Monday with Russell, even though it was far and away not his best game of the year. One of the only 2 games all year where he's made a legitimate mistake, the other being against Baltimore to Marcus Peters, that it further reinforces everything he's been since the moment he walked into the NFL, which is a future first ballot Hall of Famer who does nothing but produce. The history is unimpeachable, and I can do it very quickly. His rookie year, they're down 14-0 in the first round of the playoffs. He brings them back. They're down 20-0 in the second round of the playoffs. He brings them all the way back to where they have a lead over Atlanta, 28-27 with seconds remaining for Matt Bryant wins the game. Second year wins the Super Bowl. Third year comes within a game of the Super Bowl. Over the next 4 years, 1 year leads the league in passer rating. 1 year leads the league in touchdown passes. Never misses a game. Never is below 500. When they're rebuilding, they make the playoffs. And this year he's going to win the MVP. But the thing you said about your sister is interesting because he does, listen, Russell Wilson is a true believer, and I don't say this with any judgment. I don't say this tongue-in-cheek. He talks as if he believes he has been touched by God. And whether or not you are inclined to believe that, he makes his teammates believe it. He makes his teammates believe things they otherwise wouldn't. And that is that extra 5% that separates the great quarterbacks from the greatest quarterbacks ever. And through 8 years, Russell Wilson is en route to being one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. For a long time, people argued luck over Wilson or this shiny new toy over Wilson. He's always been that dude. From NC State to Wisconsin to when he took over for Matt Flynn days after Matt Flynn was given $40 million. And I'm glad he's going to win the MVP this year because he damn well deserves it.
Finally, I didn't give out I do my Wednesday Super Bowl bubble, and it's just so much fun here. We do bubble music and stuff. And I have my bubble this week, and I'm not going to unveil it yet, but Kansas City is the one really good team with Dallas out. Dallas is out because the coach and the identity. I don't know what their offensive identity is. I don't think they know, or they wouldn't give the ball to Zeke late that let Dak do it. And Kansas City. So I know you're from there, but I'm gonna just throw this out there. You can tell me how great you are. I need to see you be great. LeBron is great. Michael was great. Of the 8 biggest games in Mahomes' career, he's 1-7. They don't win enough.
Yeah.
They don't win enough for me. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the 1-7, you've done this once before with Patrick Mahomes, which is you go to what I assume is the Colin Cowherd Big Game Index, and you look at the ones he has lost, and you circle them. And say, okay, well, he lost. It must be a big game. Oh, well, damn it, he did win that one playoff game, so I guess I have to include it. I'm not certain where you got that stat, but I'd like to dig into the numbers on it. Here's what I know. Kansas City's a flawed team. There's no doubt about it. There's no question. They are not as good as I thought they were before the year. But one thing you can't argue is against their ceiling. Lamar Jackson is 13-4 in his career. Half those losses to that guy right there, Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Your golden god, Tom Brady, has played Patrick Mahomes twice in the last 12 months. Both of those games, Patrick Mahomes led the Chiefs back to take a lead in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
One game they were done in by a coin flip. One game they were done in by their defense. Now, what's problematic for Kansas City is while they can beat anybody, they also have proven they can lose to anybody. But I don't know what your Super Bowl bubble is going to be, but I'll tell you what it should be. Green Bay, New Orleans, Baltimore, Seattle, New England, San Francisco, Kansas City. There are 7 teams that can win the Super Bowl. Philly, Minnesota, Houston, you're out. Those 7 teams, they are in. That is the Nick Wright Super Bowl bubble that I just stole from you, and I might try to do on my television show tomorrow and pretend you never came up with it.
Nick Wright. By the way, a new haircut boy. He looks really good today, doesn't he? Last week he had kind of a sweeping thing. It was unkept. Today you look just terrific.
Yeah, I don't really know, man. I'll be honest with you, Colin. LeBron moved to the West Coast. I get about an hour and a half of sleep each night. I sleep before I talk to you, and I wake up, and sometimes I even fix my hair. Today I did. That's the only difference.
Good seeing you, buddy. Nick Wright.
See you, man.
One of my favorite spots every week. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.